It has been way too long since I've done a video, let alone a reading vlog, so it's time to get right back into it. Welcome, or welcome back, to Mr. Francy Reads! Let's go! Yes, hello and welcome or welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. I'm of course Mr. Francy, and I'm truly honored that you've once again chosen to join me today as we explore what the heck has been going on. Okay. AKA, welcome to the reading vlog. It's wonderful to be here. Okay, so I last left off my reading vlog on the 10th of July. So this vlog is going to cover from the 11th through to the 17th of July, when in actual fact today is the 23rd. And then tomorrow I'm going to do the 18th to the 24th or something like that. So yeah, we'll make it 2 vlogs. Woo, lots of fun. Really. Alright. For those of you who are new, I split my vlogs into 3 sections: personal update, watching update, and reading update. We're going to skip the watching update because we just do not have the time. I do have some personal updates that I need to give you all that are relevant to why I've been away for so long, and then we're going to jump right into the reading. For those of you who are not new, welcome back. For those of you who are new, hello and welcome. My name is Mr. Francy and I'm currently reading Cozy Mysteries, but in the current time as well, I am partway through very massive, invasive dental surgery. I was born with a tooth condition known as ameliogenesis imperfecta. Basically, this means, among many other things, that I was born without enamel on my teeth. My teeth were incredibly sensitive, not only with the nerve endings, but also prone to breakage. So I need to have all my teeth removed, and I'm getting them replaced with dentures. The teeth have been removed, the dentures have not come in yet, and that's why I sound a little bit funny in these videos. But you know what, y'all have just been so amazing for me and supportive of me, allowing me to still continue doing these videos, so I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. And recently someone left a comment on one of my videos saying that they were having a downtime, but I've made their day by doing a video. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. That's what I want to do here. I want to spread nothing but positive, sparkling energy all throughout the world and allow you to do the same. Because if I can brighten your day, then hopefully you can pass that brightened day on to someone else, and so on and so forth, and the world will become a much brighter place. I'm going to quickly pause this video, take a sip of my drink, and then when we return, I'm going to give you that quick personal update, and then we'll jump right on into reading. We'll be back in a moment. So, in my last vlog, I spoke about some big complications that have occurred owing to not having the teeth anymore. 2 of them have been, in case you are new, just updating you, 2 of them have been that I am currently lacking from a severe iron deficiency. I am also lacking and going through a severe vitamin B12 deficiency as well. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to whistle there. Deficiency. And so because of that, I have needed to take extra iron supplements. I've also need to get B12 injections, and in week 3 of this month, I got my 3rd B12 injection, and while I was there, because this is leading to my whole reason why I've been away for so long, while I was there, take a step back. For those who are new, I have trypanophobia. That is, in my view, the very rational and sane fear of needles and injections, okay? It is absolutely sane to fear a pin stabbing you in the skin, okay? It's absolutely normal. Anyway, so it has taken a lot for me to go through getting one injection per week of the B12, given my fear of injections. But I have found this amazing nurse who does my injections, and oh my gosh, he is so good. I call him my needle being another word for injection, my needle fairy, because he is so good at what he does. I hardly feel it when he does needles, and he knows I call him the needle fairy, and he loves that, so it works out well. Anyway, while I was taking the third dose of B12 injections, I realized that it's probably been 15 years since I've had a flu shot injection. So I said that to him. I said, if I book in a flu shot injection, can I get it from you? And not only did he said, yeah, that's totally fine, he then turned around and said, should we just do it today to save time? And I said, why not? So in the words of Cher with that song, Bang Bang, yeah, that's basically what happened. It was a bang in the left arm, giving me the B12, and then bang in the right arm with the flu shot injection, which was fine. It's interesting, the B12 injection hurt more than the flu shot. At least on that day. The following day, I woke up reacting to both injections. I had localized pain in the areas where I was injected for the B12 as well as the flu shot. And then the next day after that, the B12 was doing what it was meant to do, and that was absolutely fine. But the flu shot injection had me starting to feel flu-like symptoms. And I have been battling them since then. It's been going on for quite a while now. I started off with a sore, dry throat. I then went through some coughing, went through sneezing, sore muscles, lethargy, which you would expect lethargy with the lack of iron anyway, and the lack of B12, but still even more so because of all this. And it was like having a bingo board. I was saying to my mum, who I called Mama Francy, I was saying, it's like having a bingo board. Seriously, it's like, okay, today I have the sore aches and pains, so we'll mark that on the bingo board. Today I am sneezing all day. Okay, we'll mark that on the bingo board. Today I have muscle aches and pains. Okay, we're going to mark that on the bingo board. And then I think when I finally, and I say this in a humorous way, when I finally got a migraine, I was like, okay, Mum, I got a bingo because I finally have a migraine. So that's every symptom you could possibly get. I mean, I said to my mum, the overused age-old adage, no good deed goes unpunished. I finally get my flu shot and I'm stuck with all these symptoms, and it's just been absolutely ridiculous. So because of that, I just haven't been able to film. Whether I was in way too much pain in my muscles, whether I was sneezing all the time, which who wants to see me come on here and just sneeze all the way through my videos? Or whether I was coughing, or whether my throat was so sore and dry that I could hardly speak. It just, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to film. So, planning on catching up with that now. I may sound like I'm still experiencing those symptoms, and to whatever degree I am, but I feel like I'm at the tail end of that and starting to come out of it now. So I really want to make up for the lack of vlogs now, because before we know it, give it another week, and I'm going to be doing my TBR for August and my monthly wrap for July. So really got to get into these weekly reading vlogs. Thank you so much for staying with me. I'm sorry for the break, but now you know why that occurred. I'm going to pause again, take another sip of my drink, and when we come back, we're going to talk exclusively reading. How did my reading go in the next 7 days after my last reading vlog? You'll find out right after this. Hello, my friends. I am not Mrs. Doubtfire, but if ever it became a musical, I might audition for it. Doesn't she have just a scene with her dentures? I just remember that, Mrs. Doubtfire, so that could work for me. But now I'm gonna have dentures. We gotta laugh, right? I have a dear friend who said to me, and crying is absolutely valid and very cathartic, don't get me wrong, but I have a friend who once taught me, in certain situations we laugh so that we don't cry. been doing a lot of laughing this month, let me tell you. Okay, where we last left off on the 10th of July 2025, I was reading this book, Mrs. Morris and the Vampire by Tracy Wilson. This is book number 5 in the Salem B&B Cozy Mystery series. I finished this book and ended up giving it 4 stars. So, the series premise for this series is that we follow Mrs. Morris. Wait, there's a glare there, I'm sorry. We follow Mrs. Morris, who, Charlene, she was married, and so hence her married title, Mrs. Morris, and Mrs. Morris is on the cover of every book, now that I've covered that. Charlene, after losing her husband, and by losing I mean he died. Not that he cheated on her like other cozies, he died. It was really sad. So she decided to purchase to cut a long story short, mansion interstate in Salem, in Massachusetts. So she purchases this mansion to convert into a B&B, and in the very first book in the series, this being book 5, but in the first one, she meets the resident ghost, whose name is Jack, who died in the mansion and is housebound to the mansion, and he continues to be a wonderful feature throughout the remainder of the series, at least up until this point, and I really enjoy my time with him. She also has a cat that she's adopted, whose name is Silver. Okay. In this book, Charlene is the judge of a Halloween costume contest, but before she can announce the winners, she's distracted by a witch resident's love for a man who claims to be a vampire. At exactly midnight, the vampire disappears and then winds up washed up on shore. But what happened? Now, I have to say, I did not like book 2 in this series. I love book 1, I love book 3, I love book 4, and this one got 4 stars. And a big part of the reason for the 4 stars for this book was the actual mystery itself. The reveal, however, did let me down, so that is unfortunate. But I love vampires, like fictional vampire lore and all that kind of stuff. I come from a world of paranormal as well as fantasy reading, so if you're going to give me a mystery that's going to involve vampires, I am there. I am so totally there, and I found it really, really intriguing. But unfortunately, as I say, the reveal did let me down. I do love following Charlene as our protagonist, and always enjoy seeing Jack, as I said, the resident ghost, and the interactions between Jack and Charlene. Overall, the mystery was so intriguing all the way through, but as I said earlier, the reveal very much did let me down. I gave this one 4 stars, and I have the next book on the way. I went through a lot to get the next book, I tell you. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the next book in the series is Mrs. Morris and the Pot of Gold, and the site that I was purchasing the book from had the latest book in the series under book 6, Mrs. Morris and the Pot of Gold. So I had to call them, talk to them, fix it all up, because I don't want the final book in the series. Or the latest book. I want Mrs. Morris and the Pot of Gold. It is on the way. It should be here, I think, on the last day of July. So, yeah. So 4 stars for this one, and looking forward to going on to the next one. So if you did join me for that last reading blog, the 1st to the 10th of July 2025, I did show you a book haul that I did of these book number 2s in 4 different cozy mystery series that I absolutely loved and couldn't wait to get on to. The next book I picked up was the first out of those 4 books, and that is book number 2 in the S.E. Cobb Cozy Mystery series by Patricia Rockwell. This is called Papoose. Okay. Really struggling to talk. I'm so sorry. I hope you can understand me. Seriously. Anyway. Papoose. For those of you who don't know, because I didn't know, and I'm thinking, what the heck is papoosed? But papoosed. A papoose is the carrier thing that parents wear that they put the baby inside, and then like it can be hands free because you're carrying the thing, you know what I mean, the baby carrier thing. Yeah, apparently it's called a papoose. Who knew? Not me. But anyway, so in this series, so I gave this book 5 stars. I love this series so much. All I need to tell you for the series premise is that while we follow 4 elderly women in a retirement home who have different names, they might as well be named Blanche, Dorothy, Sophia, and Rose, because this series to me reads like the Golden Girls 10 years later with all of them in a retirement home. I absolutely love them. Essie Cobb, who is our protagonist, is definitely Blanche 10 years later. And then we have her friend Marjorie, who is definitely Rose. Opal, who is definitely Dorothy. And Faye, who is definitely Sophia. And I just absolutely love this series. So if you want more Golden Girls stuff, like 10 years later, what were they doing in a home? Trust me, you will not be let down. Now, this series is referred to as a light cozy mystery series. So you know how we have your standard cozy and your grittier cozy? This series is kind of seen as the opposite to a gritty cozy. It is a light cozy. Rather than even a standard or gritty, it's a light cozy. And it is extremely light, extremely cozy, and I love it for that reason as well. So I do highly recommend it. The premise of this book is that the kitchen man, the man who does the cooking in the home, he comes over to Essie asking Essie to come back into the kitchen area with him because he needs to tell her something really important. And she does, and she sees a baby there, and it turns out that a fellow cook in the kitchen had a baby, left the baby there with this guy in charge. She went away. She was going to come back. She's not back yet. He doesn't know what to do. If anyone finds the baby is going to go into a foster home or into something like that because the mother is not an American citizen. So everyone's worried about that. So Essie ends up taking the baby and putting the baby in her walker thing and taking the baby back to her room and trying to see what they can do to not only find the mother but also look after the baby and make sure that the baby doesn't cry so it doesn't get discovered. And yeah, just with the help of her friends, it really was an entertaining story from start to end. I love the series so much, which is saying something given this is only book 2. Book 1 was good, but I didn't like the reveal. This book I could not fault. As I say, I imagine the Golden Girls 10 years later, the show ended in a retirement home with different names and we followed the Blanche character. That is literally the series. As fun, funny and entertaining as you can imagine. Definitely a hidden gem in the cozy mystery world. And I gave this book 5 stars. So the next book that I read, I am a little annoyed because on Goodreads, they don't have this cover, and Goodreads tends to have every single edition of a book, and yet with this series, the covers I get, they don't have, but I actually prefer my covers to the one that Goodreads shows. So there you go, Goodreads. I don't care because I like my covers better. Never do that, but it's true. Like, I like my covers better. So, I like my covers better than yours, Goodreads, so who cares? I am talking about... Sorry, I've been trying to avoid coughing in this video, and just got a little bit of a cough in there, so I do apologize. Okay. I'm talking about book number 2 in the Mysteries of Max Cozy Mystery Series by Nick Saint, which is a couple pairing. Nick, N-I-C-K, and Nicole, N-I-C-O-L-E. Saint, husband and wife. I believe they're husband and wife, and not brother and sister. I believe they're husband and wife. Anyway, duo author pair who write this wonderful series. Book number 2 is called Perfectly Deadly. And we have this ginger cat on the cover who is Max. And I believe that this is meant to be... No, it's not Harriet. This is someone else who I forgot, but I remember she's a side character that helps with the investigation, but she's there maybe for like 1/5 of the book. So I don't remember her name, but I know who it is. Anyway, doesn't matter. Set up for this series at Mysteries of Max is that we follow Max. And when I say we follow Max, I mean we follow Max. This book is about Max. This book is not about Max's owner and then we get to see Max every so often. No, this book is all about Max. And in book 1, Max needed to solve a mystery with his friend Dooley, his depending upon the day, friend/former friend Harriet, and a new cat that's come to town with a new cop that's come to town in Brutus. And book 1 was really, really entertaining. So I couldn't wait to get on to seeing what was going to happen with book number 2. And I absolutely loved it just as much. I ended up giving this book a total of 5 stars. I just can't fault it. So in this book, Max's human Odelia has an appointment to interview a famous rock and roll star for the paper she writes for. Max is thrilled to be going with her, as rumor is that this star has many cats who eat this amazing food called pate. I mean, if it's written from the perspective of a human, 9 times out of 10, the human would be like, I don't like pate. But of course, for a cat, it's like, oh, there's this amazing food called pate, and I gotta see the pate. I actually do like pate. I'm in the minority. Anyway, not long after they arrive, Max and his friend Dooley find this star that his human is meant to interview head first in the pool of his backyard. Objects lying around suggest a party. When the star's boyfriend sleeping in his car out front, with the star's boyfriend sleeping in his car out front, it doesn't look good. But the more the layers are pulled back on this mystery, the more Max and his friends and his human will learn about the rock star. So to my thoughts, a general thought, given this is book 2 in the series, I know it's an early call, but my goodness do I love this series. I think the husband and wife pairing so there you go, it is husband and wife, of Nick and Nicole Saint have done an amazing job creating a series about a male cat sleuth. To my thoughts on the book, there is absolutely nothing I can point out as a con. The mystery was intriguing all the way through, so much to learn about the rock star, and the growth between Max and his enemy cat Brutus was interesting to see. Truly a hidden gem of a series that everyone should read. Yeah, I love the world building of this series. Okay. I used to read fantasy, so for those of you who don't know, world building is anything that builds up the fictitious world that you are reading about. In this case, while this is not a fantasy, while it's a cozy mystery, the fictitious world that we have built up for this series is the world of the cats that we are following. And so it was really, really awesome, all that world building about like how cats live and things cats do and things we're able to do because we're following Max as opposed to following a human, stuff like that. I find it really, really intriguing. But the mystery was so good. There is so much to this rock star, so much about what happened that night, which, if you're a Pretty Little Liars fan, I'm sorry. But yes, my head did go there right away. Like, what happened that night with Ellison? But anyway, it's like, what happened that night with the rock star? It was just as intriguing as classic Pretty Little Liars. It's so good. 5 stars. The next book that I read was book number 2 in the A Tucson Valley Retirement Community Cozy Mystery series by Marcy Blessy, called Dying for Wine, parentheses, Seeing Red. I don't know why they all have to have the brackets on them, but anyway. Oh, and what I love, this is really creative. You know how sometimes it takes us a while to notice something? Not only is wine being poured into the glass here, but it also says wine. However it's written. Oh yeah, so there's the start W. W-I-N-E. Anyway. We'll move along with just a fun little fact on the farm. This is book number 2, as I say, in the A Tucson Valley Retirement Community Cozy Mystery series, where the series premise is that we follow, what's her name? Rosie, whose full name is something to do with, it's all the names of the, Golden Girls. Like, it's like, Rose D. Dorothy something, I don't know, anyway. Her nickname is Rosie, and we'll just go with that. Who's a performing arts director in the Tucson Valley Retirement Community in Arizona. I need to make a point about this, however. In book number 1, this being book 2, in book 1, Rosie arrives at the Tucson Valley Retirement Community Center retirement community, doesn't matter, because her father is going through surgery, so she's going to be there to be with him. At the end of book 1, she decides to stay at the Tucson Valley Retirement Community area, and she is given a job right at the end of book 1 as the performing arts director for the Tucson Valley Retirement Community. Okay, so that's where things pick up. It picks up with her at that job, and we're seeing her there for the first time in book number 2. Okay, so yeah, it's set in Arizona. Coziness includes Keaton, the love interest, who's not a cop or a detective, and her puppy, Barley, who is just absolutely adorable. So in this book, now as a performing arts director, Rosie is preparing for one final show before the retirement community flies south for the upcoming season. Immediately there are issues as two men, both pegged to play the same role, are constantly bickering. After the one-night-only show is deemed a success, Rosie finds one of the men backstage murdered on her watch. Officer Daniel requests Rosie's help to solve the murder. Now, I gave this book 4 stars, and to my thoughts, I really enjoyed the humour in book 1. Sadly, that humour took a bit of a back seat in book 2, so I did dock a star. I think the reason for that, if I'm to unpack that a little further, is because with book 1, Rosie had just arrived at the Tucson Valley Retirement Community for the first time, so there were a lot of different things for her to get used to. She was very much like a fish out of water, where now in book 2, she's been there for a while, she has a job, this is becoming the norm for her. So the humour being based on this fish out of water experience in book 1 is no longer the case in book 2, and so it just wasn't as humorous as book number 1 was for me. In saying that, I found the mystery to be intriguing, as I love anything set in a theatre. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun in high school. I did anything performing arts that I could, including not only just did I do music performance, solo singing, as well as dance that I did as well. But I also did theatre studies and drama. I love them both, and any time I could spend on stage or in a theatre, it just meant a lot to me. I felt like I was at home on stage. So anytime I read any book, but especially a cozy that is set in a theatre or where the mystery occurs at a theatre, it really intrigues me. And so this one definitely was the book for me for that very reason. Just having that be the setting, the bones of the book being a theatre, really worked well for me. The relationship between Rosie and Keaton is so adorable. I love that Rosie's love interest is not a cop or a detective. He is a gardener, he is a landscaper, and he has a heart of gold, and I will defend him every single time. And it is also nice. It was also nice meeting Rosie's brother, his wife, and their kids in this book. I don't remember why they came down, but there was a reason why her brother came down with his wife and their kids, and so we got to meet them, so it was good to meet them as well. It was still a really good book, despite the fact that it wasn't as humorous as book number 1. So I gave it 4 stars, and I will be continuing on with, I think it's called Dying for Dirt, book number 3 in August. And the final book we're going to talk about as well on Goodreads also doesn't have this cover. It has this cover for the audiobook, but not for the paperback, and it was the same with book 1. It had the cover I have a book 1 for the audiobook, but not for the paperback. Who is sleeping on the job at Goodreads, and can I have their job, please? Anyway, doesn't matter, because again, if you see the cover on Goodreads and you see my cover, I prefer my cover, so Anyway, it is book number 2 in the A Case for the Master Sleuths Cozy Mystery Series by Alex Wagner, which is called Never Blame the Gardener. And isn't that an adorable cover? In this series, we follow Athos, the Alaskan Malamute. In this second book, Athos has, for a number of months now, been living with a white kitten whose name is Pearl, and they work together to solve these cases. They are the Master Sleuths that the series title refers to. Alright, so you got that. I just love this cover. The cover on Goodreads? This is so much better than that one. But anyway, I'm going to let that go. Alright, so yeah, the series promises that we follow Athos. This is all written from Athos, the Alaskan Malamute's perspective. While Pearl is there and Pearl works alongside Athos, the perspective is 100% Athos's. So we follow Athos, an Alaskan Malamute who lives with his human Victoria and their adopted kitten Pearl. In this book, Professor Adler, distinguished historian and Athos' former owner, had died in a tragic accident. At least that has been the official story until now. But a former employee of the professors, I can't talk without teeth, I'm so sorry. But a former employee of the professors is very insistently interested in his estate. and there are so many S's, and suddenly dies himself under suspicious circumstances. Does the gardener of the neighboring property, seemingly a very friendly two-legged, have both men in his conscience? Athos and Pearl's sleuthing instincts are called for because the police may be on the wrong trail. And to my thoughts, admittedly, there were two mysteries we were trying to solve, one that was the main mystery and one that involved Pearl. While the Pearl mystery was very intriguing, the other one just didn't grab my interest. That being said, the reveal for the main mystery at the end was absolutely fantastic and couldn't have been written any better. I love following Athos as our main character in the series. He is a fantastic Alaskan Malamute as well as an amateur sleuth. I also really enjoy the time he spends with Pearl, and I will continue on with the series. I gave this one 4 stars. And now for everyone's favourite game that we like to call Up. These are the books that I read between the 11th and the 17th of July 2025. I'll be back with the 17th to 24th, hopefully tomorrow, if not then very soon. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you all go. Peace, blessings, and so much love. I'm so sorry for the delay in my videos, and until next time, please keep going, please keep sparkling, and I'll see you again soon. Happy reading. Bye, everyone!